Hello, welcome to the decisive games of the Medium Games Finals. We're all tied up at 3 here. The winner of this game is the Medium Games champion, Kubu versus Koehni. And we've got a Shepherd Kingdom. Interesting.
Shepherd Kingdom with nobles as a alternate green card as well. Makes Shepherd a little more interesting and viable.
You can also bounty hunt estates and then buy for money and then buy them back and discard them. There's some stuff you can do there.
Yeah, Coastal Haven, as Briska Boy points out, is certainly a good ally that has some synergy with Shepherd as well to seed your hands with green cards, your starting hand with green cards.
The Druid boons are also quite good here. Anytime you have field, Druid is like much better. But field, Moon can do some stuff. Forest is not like Druid with Field's Gift is just like a completely different card, I think, than Druid without Field's Gift.
Yeah, I mean, if you have to use it as Field's Gift, it's pretty sad because it's basically just a hopper with a die, but it does certainly help with reliability, where you know you can always play it.
And there's plenty of twos here that you want to buy.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, Border Guard's obviously a great 2-cost card that you just want as many of them as you can get typically.
So Sycophant Advance is a thing too, right?
Yeah, for sure. Especially with, as was pointed out, with Coastal Haven.
And then Pasture is a 3-type for Courtier.
For Courtier, yeah.
Falconer can gain stuff. You can also do big Horn of Plenty stuff.
Yeah, Horn is certainly going to be relevant and perhaps game winning here once you get a little thinned out and start getting the draw going with nobles.
Yeah, so I guess we're spamming we're spamming border guards and shepherds and estates and horns, and you can play with a falconer, you can play with a courtier, you can play with some nobles, you can maybe add some fortresses. There's just like many things you can build here, all of which are in service of getting 6 Horn of Plenties in the deck, right? And then gaining 7 provinces in a turn.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of want most of these cards. You want a lot of them in your deck, right? I mean, I don't think there's any of these cards that you're not necessarily buying. And a lot of them, border guards, fortresses, nobles, shepherd, burns. I mean, you just want a lot of them.
Yeah, border guards are really nice. Shepherd is just awkward a lot of the times, and border guard can churn through the deck and find all the green and then trigger good shuffles. One thing you can do with Shepherd is discard the right number of estates to draw all but your last card, and then border guard to trigger a shuffle of all green cards, and then use Coastal Haven to top deck the extra Shepherd in hand for the next turn. So like you can do a lot of work with reliability here.
Would you both players have opened Bounty Hunter? Would you, given that don't necessarily want to Bounty Hunter your estates, would you just open Shepherd over Bounty Hunter here?
I think I do want to bounty hunt my estates and then just gain them back.
Gain them back because it helps you hit the price points to get the Falconer and.
Yeah, I think Falconer is going to be very good here. Your opponent's going to be gaining a lot of dual types. We can see what the dual types are. Nobles, Falconer, Druid, Sycophant. I assume some amount of Sycophants will be gained just for advanced stuff, but probably you get a Druid first, so you can use spare plus buys on Sycophants.
Right.
And I think you play with one Courtier that's got plus. It's going to be plus coins action buy when you draw it with the pasture, and I think we're going to be drawing deck fairly quickly.
Right.
Wow, beautiful. They pick up a fortress. Maybe didn't really need to buy a fortress, but they drew it with two terminals. I would have gotten a shepherd there, I think. I would have actually exiled in a state and gotten another falconer. Fortress advance is also a thing. Good point, Jackal. You can advance fortresses into nobles.
Yeah, that
So
seems
this
very
is
strong.
play
You
Fortress, gain Shepherd, I think, probably.
you just play the Falconer to gain a shepherd and then advance your fortress into a nobles.
Yeah, you can do that. You play Druid for field, and then Falconer. Druid for field, and then Falconer gains Shepherd.
Oh, what did we?
Uh, yeah.
Oh, because it could react the Falconer. Got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Nobles is a dual type. They drew Kubu drew very, very well on turn 5, let's say. Oh, we can
Oh, it is.
wait, play the copper. Oh no, we only had one buy. Okay, we only had one buy, so that makes sense.
Wow.
Uh
Yeah, 3 advances.
yes, that is what happened.
Wow.
Uh
I wasn't even thinking that far ahead.
so maybe we don't need to play with Shepherd at all. Maybe we just gain all the
Yeah.
nobles. No, I mean
Yeah.
Shepherd should be fine with nobles. Because you discard the nobles, then you're redrawing some of them, and you can. Shepherd nobles is not great. It's better than Shepherd harem. I don't know. That's not saying very much, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you the option, right? If you just have one nobles in hand, you can discard it to shepherd. So
I mean, if I have two nobles in hand and discarded two nobles to Shepherd, so like I don't most of the time, it's a somewhat sad interaction.
yeah, that's true. Either way, you're gaining more cards by discarding them to shepherd.
I so it's turn 6. Okay, we are gaining a Shepherd finally. Okay, it's turn 6. We haven't gained a Shepherd yet, and we're not exiling estates. So this could be action coins. Yeah, I mean, Kubu's draw turn 3 was very good. I mean, it was a nicely it was a complex. Was it turn 3, turn 5? Whenever the crazy turn 5. It was a very nice draw, but it was nicely spotted. The combination of things that you can do there. Yeah, so Falconer can gain cards to hand, and then Coastal Haven can save them for next turn. So essentially, you can always have a Shepherd in your hand.
If you have enough favors, yeah.
If you have enough favors. And we're going to buy a Sycophant, and then we're going to trash it, and like that gives us 4, so that's 4 turns worth of top decking.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. You could gain the sycophant to hand with Falconer and then immediately advance it, and
Yeah.
that's a nice windfall of favors.
Yeah. So this kingdom just, I don't even think we get to the Horns of Plenties now.
Yeah, my horns might be too slow, huh?
As bizarre as that sounds.
Yeah.
I think I want to play this fortress and then buy another Druid.
More plus buy into your deck.
I guess they want to top deck this fortress because they have a bunch of nobles down there. The thing you can do with Shepherd nobles is the thing you really want to be doing is playing discarding the nobles and then redrawing them all with Shepherds, then playing them all as Ox basically, and then you can have a bunch of terminal space to play your terminal cards like Falconers and Druids and stuff. I assume they just want to advance this fortress into, yeah. Yeah, so this is what we refer to as a hand for Kubu.
Yep.
I believe that's the technical term.
It's everything you need to get kicked off, isn't it? And then some.
Yeah, we'll see if Koehni gains a dual type, then they can even like gain a Shepherd. And I believe the bottom card is the Druid, so
Yeah, what do we have? Both players have 3. Oh,
yeah, I think Kubu gains a Shepherd here.
makes sense.
Huh. I do.
Second Druid.
I think I prefer a shepherd there. I'm a little concerned about drawing this turn with no villages, with the only villages being nobles.
Lead on the fortress then?
No, they're advancing the fortress.
You're kind of stuck here.
Yeah, I mean, you can... yeah, they can play both druids now as... I think as Kubu, you can exile an estate here pretty happily. You have so many green cards that... You know, you're losing a little... You're technically losing shepherd draw, but not very much. The pasture you want to keep, obviously, in case you get a Courtier later. I'm also concerned that Kubu's next hand is a little bit rough. And maybe they need some more shepherds. I liked starting that turn by gaining a shepherd and then triggering a shuffle with the 3 nobles in it and drawing 7.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that would have been a great draw.
Oh, and you just keep top decking the fortress. Wowzers. This was nicely spotted by Kubu. They spotted that pretty quickly. I think between you and I in chat, we kind of got there.
Yeah, I didn't quite see how powerful it was with the plus buy.
Sycophant, like in a normal Shepherd Kingdom, often you're ending your turn with like 6 estates in hand. And Sycophant can make use of that. So Sycophant normally I think would be a nice card to interact with the Shepherd deck. Especially because you often have trouble. You like want to thin your coppers with Bounty Hunter, and then how do you get payload? And you can even like do Sycophant, discard 3 estates, then Fortress, whatever, trigger the shuffle. But there's just so much else going on here that I think that's too slow. Yeah, it seems to me that Kubu is in a commanding position here.
That seems pretty strong. Seems like they're in a pretty strong spot.
They gained, what, Shepherd, Fortress, Falconer last turn. That seems like a lot of fortresses. I guess they wanted the villages.
I guess the thinking is you can then play nobles for draw.
You just need to make sure to find one fortress at the end to do advanced shenanigans. Although we're getting to the point where I want to actually be gaining cards that I can't gain with advance. Like Horns of Plenty, which let me get provinces.
We're adding some horns as Kubu.
Yeah, and Kubu could have exiled an estate and gotten a horn last turn. It's really not clear to me in Kubu's deck that estate is better than nothing at this point. I mean, I know Kubu has played this somewhat defensively, but they've been able to parlay that into a pretty nice deck. So it's hard to criticize the top decking of the fortress every time. I think you discard this nobles here.
Yeah, I think so.
And now
you play the fortress and then shepherd because you're going to find more fortresses down there.
We have 3 fortresses. I think I play. It depends on what we're doing with Falconers, I guess, is what I'll give you a non-committal answer. Depends on what we're doing with Falconers. We have 2 nobles down there, 3 nobles down there. Yeah. So we can... I think we want to gain a Sycophant here to top deck. Like we can trigger what amounts to a bad shuffle here with... we've got 5 green cards in the discard pile currently. We can trigger what amounts to a bad shuffle and then top deck a... Shepherd.
Shepherd, yeah.
Probably one of the Falconers gains a fortress, one of them gains a Shepherd. That feels a little bit weakish. Like, we could be doing better with our turn. I kind of want to get a Horn of Plenty start, and then Horns of Plenty will gain Horns of Plenty, and Fortresses will gain other actions, but pileouts in this kingdom will come very, very quickly.
Once you start going down that horn path, you're going to be very close to a pileout.
But also, yeah, if Kubu plays 2 Druids as Forest's Gift, that's 5 gains with advance. So, like, and they've got two Falconer. So if Kubu gains 2, let's say they play Fortress here. Let's say they play all the nobles for actions. Both Falconers gain Druids. They play all 5 Druids as... is Druid dual type? Yes. So Falconer gains Druid, Activate gains Druid. They play all 5 Falconers. That gives them 9 buys. And they could advance Fortress 9 times into 5 Druids and 4 Fortresses and pile out. Except, I think they are 1 action short of the thing I just said. What is the bottom card of Kubu's deck? Is it a fortress? Do they only have 2 fortresses? 3 fortresses. So if the bottom card of Kubu's deck is another village, they can pile out. Is another fortress, they pile out and win here.
They have 1 more copper in their deck, or is it in discard? Pasture. Do they have a pasture?
Pasture's in the discard.
In the discard. Okay, maybe it is another.
So Kubu has 3 fortresses. Oh, it's a nobles then. No, nobles is in the discard pile. Okay, it's they have another Druid, right? So the bottom card of the deck is the Druid. Okay, so I don't think Kubu has a pile out here then, unless, I mean, it's possible still that I'm missing something.
It's close. It's real close.
So Druid, they can't get to 9 buys. They can get to 9 buys here, but they have to play the fortress, and then they don't have advance food. Is the problem. They needed to have not discarded a nobles, I guess, but then maybe they don't draw everything. So they can play 1 Druid for plus action, but then they only get to 8 buys. So I'm not seeing any tricks here. Yeah, this is game 7 of a tournament that's been going on for 2 months. I think we're okay with the players taking some time working this out.
Yeah, this is certainly a spot where you want to take your time.
I think
if there is a win, you want to make sure you find it.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it. It doesn't mean it's not there. I'm just not seeing it. Yeah, so say you gain 1 Druid to hand. I think I like gaining Fortress Shepherd and then seeding the shuffle with the Shepherd next turn. And then gaining like a couple of maybe gaining a couple of border guards. And trying to buy a Horn of Plenty here. So you can turn that.
This is one of those spots too, where as Kubu, you don't want to mess up a pile out, because certainly your opponent is not in the same position as you are.
Yeah, they've got to
keep the status quo and improve your deck a little bit. You still feel like you're in control of the game. Whereas if you go for a pile out and you botch it, you could lose game 7. So I wouldn't.
Yeah,
that kind of
you've got a. Okay, so if they play this 1 nobles as actions, they trigger what amounts to a bad shuffle, but then they top deck the. Yeah, so that's 3 green cards down there. So they're good now. They play both these nobles as actions. And then they can favor the Shepherd for next turn. And then they can play Sycophant, maybe Bounty Hunter, maybe Druid. Whatever combination of things they want to play here. I guess you want to play both Druids. You play Sycophant and discard Bounty Hunter, Estate Copper. That gets you to 5. Druid for buy coin. Druid for buy coin gets you to 7. I think they were one action short of a pile out there. Is my best guess. And now you don't want to. They have the VP lead. They have an extra Falconer and they have an extra Druid. So like Cooney's got a Courtier, which is one extra buy.
Yeah, and Cooney's not doing any of the shepherd stuff, right? They've got 2 estates in exile. Okay, so what are we gaining with these advances?
I like 2 border guards and a Falconer.
Need the Courtier? I feel like that just increases your chances. I mean, it's a great card here on this board. I guess as long as you get these border guards, maybe it's fine.
I think they can take 1 fortress. I also like buying an estate here.
Yeah.
It's probably not like... They lowered the fortresses by 1, so they should have a pile out next turn. They have an amazing starting hand. Like I find it difficult to think that they won't pile out here with this draw.
Being able to Coastal Haven the Shepherd and Estate, it looks like, both really sets them up.
Yeah, and I think you don't discard this Nobles, but we'll see what Kuni does in their turn. Kuni can get like a province here, and that makes it slightly harder for Kubu to win. They can even get like province estate potentially. Like they've got some ability to do some good stuff. They can bounty hunt a bounty hunter. Where's their pasture? I don't know, their pasture is gone. That's sad. Having to draw with nobles twice is pretty sad too.
Yeah.
So if they bounty hunt a bounty hunter, they can Courtier reveal, nobles for actions. They can Courtier reveal the bounty hunter, or something for 2 types and get coins by. Druid for action. Falconer can gain something.
They did have the pasture in hand, right? While they had the Courtier, so they could have, if they would have slowed down, they could have played it earlier for.
Yeah, I guess if you're pretty sure you're going to your coins action buy, you might as well do it as soon as you draw them. They did have that in hand for a brief period of time.
Yeah.
They played it so quickly I didn't have time to notice. They ended up with 5 actions: gain Druid, react with Falconer, play 4 Druids, have 9 buys. It's possible that I miscalculated last turn. Did they only need to play 4 Druids? Oh, they needed to gain a Druid with the second Falconer, but they didn't need to play it. Oh. Okay. I was thinking they needed to play the Druid, but I believe Arnie is right. Or Skaboy is right.
Okay, because gaining it, just gaining it lowers the pile by 1. So yeah. Maybe that. Yeah, we can load that afterwards and see if that works. But it does make sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think as Kuni here, you province estate, and hope that stops them from piling out next turn, and then the game continues on a little bit and see what happens. It just seems like Kubu's deck can't score a lot, I guess, is the issue right now. Although they can gain a lot of estates quickly with all the plus buys and gains from Falconers. So, Kubu could take four estates next turn. You're right, Afterboy. They had enough actions to play 4 Druids, but not 5. So, Kuni's lowering, which they do find the pasture now again, which is nice.
Yeah, I wonder if
this order is weird. They exile the copper, the first bounty hunter exiling a copper before playing the fortress. You just there's no reason to do that until you're done drawing for the turn.
Right.
Probably they should have asked to undo that before they played the fortress. Now that they played the fortress, they can't reasonably ask to undo it.
They're trying to find
Actually, Gold.
Sure, again, what gold's doing, but hey, it worked for him last game.
I'm not
They need the gold, the province?
No. So, Fields Gift, and they hit 10, which is, yeah, province estate. I believe with the fortress being lowered, though, Kubu can get... I think Kubu with best turn can pile out and gain 3 estates.
Or just pile out estates and fortresses.
Well, the pile out requires advance for 0, I think, a lot of the time.
Yeah, with all the Druid, if you're... Yeah, that's true. I guess I was thinking back to all the buys from gaining all the Druids. So if you're not gaining a bunch of Druids, then you don't have the buys to buy all the estates. That's true.
This is an awkward reveal here, but we're going to have to play some things that we don't want to play them.
Right.
Yeah. Here I think we play 2 fortresses and then play a shepherd.
No reason not to play 2 fortresses, right?
Yeah, then play a shepherd, discard the 3 nobles. We're going to find the nobles again this turn. Everything down there is green, so we're going to draw green, and then we can discard everything but the nobles. And, yes, the line I'm thinking of requires Falconer gains 2 druids. So then you need 7 buys of advance, and then 6 money and 3 buys. You basically need 10 buys and the money you get from druids. You need to play druid. Basically, you need to play druid. You need to play 5 druids.
Now, why are we drawing with nobles there?
I do not know. I do not think that was correct. I think
cost you 3 actions basically, because that's a nobles using up an action instead of giving you 2 actions. That
is correct. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's quite a bit harder now, but Courtier gives us a buy. So we can Courtier. If we play Courtier and Pasture, we actually only need, and we can actually now draw the gold as well. So we can take, or we take action coins buy, I think always. So now Courtier gives us a buy. We could play 4 druids, and we need to play 5 druids though. Falconer can Falconer gain a fortress? First Falconer gains a druid, second one gains a fortress, so we can play the fortress. I think the second one needs to... Oh, no. Falconer... I think you wanted to gain estate there as Koehni. Right?
Maybe they're not going for a win here.
We still have it. If this Falconer gains a fortress, we get to 10 buys, and we have exactly what we need. So Falconer needed to gain it. Maybe we're still there with everything. Yeah, this is it. This is a win. Advance 10 times by Duchy.
Did they 7 times is all you need to do. So yeah, they had it easily. It just they could have had it by an even bigger margin.
Wow, so Kubu with a great comeback there and nicely spotted in this kingdom. Obviously they had a really good draw, but I think on turn 5, but I think their build was more optimized.
Their build was excellent for sure.
And this is certainly a big games build, I will say. So that's a win for Kubu and medium games champion. They're added to the illustrious Hall of Fame.
Yes. Well, some illustrious
players. Some of us are just commentators. And congratulations to Kubu on a great season. Also, Koehni played great as well. So thank you all for watching.
Ask for more from the final. 7 games, very exciting, tense finish, some real interesting, challenging boards, and overall they both played really well.